okay, it took 5 years and 6 restarts, but I've finally done it. I have completed the Illuminatus Trilogy. If you've read this book, you'll probably be aware of why it's taken so long to read. It is obviously 3 books in one, trilogy, clues in the name. It is a bit hard. I bought it originally as an ebook, and the thing about ebooks is they tell you the percentage that you've read, and I'd actually got 64% in and then got distracted by something, so I didn't pick it up for 4 months, and then when I picked it up again I had no idea what had gone on and kind of had to restart. And then sometimes you'll get 20% in and you'll leave it for 6 months and then you'll be like, oh. But I made a concerted effort from like February this year to now to say, right, now I'm going to make sure I get through this. So yes, it's done. Like I said, I bought it originally as an ebook for a few quid. I think it was like £3. And then I went to a second-hand bookshop while reading it, one of the times of reading it, and this was like £2. So even though I had no intention of really reading the paper, because I just think that is just too bulky to physically read comfortably compared to an ebook reader, it just felt right. This was in my collection. For those that don't know, this book is absolutely bonkers. Well, these 3 books are absolutely bonkers. It's essentially working on the premise that every conspiracy theory is real. And there's not just one shadowy organisation, there's loads of them. And they're all at war with each other. It's brilliant. It is a tough read. You literally it will jump time and space in a sentence. You'll get to the end of the sentence, and then the next sentence it will be in a completely different time and space, and it will not tell you. You've just got to try and keep up with it. There's no kind of like line breaks. A lot of times there's like it'll go into parentheses or it'll go into italics, but a lot of time it's not. It'll just switch. And sometimes when you're reading and you'll get to like the bottom of a page and you'll be like, oh, I have read, but none of it's gone in. You can't do that when you're reading this book. I'm someone who always goes back to the top and reads again anyway. But you really have to kind of focus on what you're doing. And I think even when you do that, it's really difficult to keep up all the threads. But it's a great book, and it's totally bonkers. It's first published in 1975, I think, the first book. But yes, I highly recommend it. Just kind of give yourself a few months to read that and nothing else really, and you should be okay. I love the fact that I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I always think that if you've got a choice between cock up and conspiracy, it's cock up. I can't think of anything in the last 40 years that I've seen from either any government or big organisation that's made me think, oh, that was competent. It's actually a belief Alan Moore said, which was, Alan Moore says his conspiracy about the world is that no one's got any clue what they're doing. And I totally agree with that. If you think that all these heads of government and these heads of big businesses and all these banking elites and all that kind of, if you just think that they don't know what they're doing, all of a sudden the world makes perfect sense. It's like, why have they done that? Oh yeah, they don't know what they're doing. They're idiots. The other reason I wanted to talk about this book, I got into this book because I read a book by John Higgs called Chaos, Magic and the Burning of £1,000,000, something like that. I'll put a caption on the screen to say exactly what it's called. It's primarily about the KLF burning £1,000,000. So I don't know if anyone knows this. There was a band called the KLF. It was Jimmy Courtier, Bill Drummond and Jimmy Courtier. and they did a few musical projects. They did a song called Doctor in the TARDIS by the Time Lords. That was them. And they did KLF, Justified Ancients of Mu and all that stuff. Well, they got all that kind of... The Mu are in here. Yeah, so they get a lot of inspiration from this book. So I was kind of made aware of this book through John Higgs's book. John Higgs's book is brilliant. Fully recommend that you read that. Whatever you think about the KLF burning £1 million, it's a fascinating read. Well worth trying to dig up a copy. Like I say, it's available in ebook stores. You might you might find the paperback somewhere, I don't know. But in that book he mentioned this because Bill Drummond and Jimmy Corti actually met at a theatre production of this. Bill Drummond did the set design, and it was a theatre production done by Ken Campbell. And if you know Ken Campbell, he's a bit of a legend, to be fair. Or was a bit of a legend, he's died now. And he also was completely bonkers. God bless him. So yeah, I kind of read that book, and it talked about where they got a lot of their inspiration from was this, and it got me interested in wanting to read this. And then I read this on and off until I finally got through it. And yeah, just go for it, folks. Seriously, whether you believe in conspiracies or not, just kind of strap in and go for the ride. It's well worth it. Don't wait 6 years like I did. Give yourself a couple of months and kind of go, right, I'm going for this now, and do it. Well worth it. Dead impressed. And you know, any book where you go from detective fiction to an army of underwater Nazis, to a war in Atlantis where you're siding with the porpoises, and then squirrels. It's like some people have reviewed it and kind of said it's all over the place. It's like, that's the point. Appreciate that you're not going to get all of it, that some of it's going to fly over your head, that you're going to get completely lost, you're going to feel totally out of sorts, but it's well worth it. Do it.